everyone. I hope you're having a great Saturday. In India, you must have just had lunch. I hope you're still, conducive for a training, ready for a training. I'll try my best to make it an interactive, interesting one for all of us. Okay, so let's start. I'll start by sharing my screen. Just give me a second, please. Let me know once you can see my screen, Prachi, or anybody.
Yes.
Yes, your screen is
Great.
visible.
Okay. So let's get going. As you know that the session is about diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. Let me know if you want me to slow down. I speak a bit fast, and I only stop when I feel like, okay, more needs to be given over here on this topic. Otherwise, I believe that quite a few things are self-explanatory. But if you want me to stop somewhere, please feel free, stop me, and we can get into the details. Okay. So,
Could you please elaborate the inclusive?
sorry. Okay.
Fine. You go ahead, madam. You go ahead. Once you
I'm
complete,
sorry. Yeah.
I'll park my question.
Okay. Okay, so let's start with this. What is the objective of DEIB in corporate, or let's say not just corporate, in general? Why do we need DEIB? Why is it trending? Okay, so very quickly, when we talk about these topics like DEIB, equity, inclusion, belonging, diversity, what in short or in a crisp way, what it gets us for us as an organization is these few points that I have mentioned. These few points which I have mentioned over here: access, equality, justice, value, allyship, purpose, growth, and accountability. As bookish as it may sound, as we go forward, you'll be able to relate to each one of them. So let's go forward with the first topic that we have here, which is diversity. I would request the team to be interactive over here. Whatever comes to your mind, even if it's like not agreeing with you, Anamika, with what you're saying, please go ahead and point it out to me. Okay, so let's talk about diversity first. So what is diversity? So Oxford Dictionary describes it as the practice or quality of including, involving people from a range of different social and ethnic background, or for different genders, sexual orientation. Why is it important for us, or why is it important for you as a participant? It increases productivity, creativity, improved cultural awareness, increase in um, increase in marketing opportunities. How does it do that? Okay, let's discuss more. Okay, let's say you have a team or you have a problem. So when you have a problem and you have got, let's say, 9 people in your team. So you divide the team for yourself. Go ahead and divide the team a homogeneous group. Like, let's say, for example, a group of 3 men, or let's say group of 5 men, and no women. Let's not include. Let's say sexual orientation for all of them is straight. They all have years of experiences between 10 and 15. They all come from a tier 1 or tier 2 engineering college. You club them. You make another group at the same time which has women, which has, let's say, a person who has maybe what do we say, specially gifted, is uses a wheelchair for the daily movements. Include a person who has a different sexual orientation. Which team do you think over here would come up with different ideas, or not different ideas? Where do you think you will have a chance of more different views? Let me put it this way: like, which team do you think will come up with different views? A homogeneous group or a heterogeneous group, which has different background, which has different experiences? What do you guys think over here?
Heterogeneous team may come with a lot of ideas, different perspectives.
Exactly. Because the heterogeneous group has a different background. And why do you think what do you think are the other factors that a heterogeneous group will come up with different ideas? What makes the homogeneous? Why do we say homogeneous men will have what do you think can be the other factors? Anybody? I see such nice names over here.
Maybe the commonality a homogeneous team have may not allow to come out from their boundaries and put values or different thoughts in the discussion or the debate.
You
So
are
probably
absolutely right.
that may be the reason
Yes,
a
it's one of the
disadvantage of a
yes, a very strong reasons why companies today, organizations today want a diverse group. They say when we are all a result of our experiences, we are all result of our thoughts, our thought process is result of our backgrounds, the family that we have been brought up, our educational background, our emotional background. And if you're not including a woman, you do not have not just women, you're not including an opposite gender, you do not want to consider the views of a person who has different background, a different way of thought, then you will end up with similar kind of thought process. You will end up with similar kind of results every time you have a problem. We all know about AI, right? Apart from Dave, the other thing that's trending is AI, right? I see everybody trying to talking about AI. Which jobs do you think would be the first one to go away when AI takes over, or which do you think is the easiest jobs to be taken away?
routine job.
Exactly, the entry jobs, the only one, the jobs that will stay is where challenges needs to be addressed by human mind. So what happens if you stop taking, if you're not made your group diverse, what happens and you have been able to solve the problems in a routine way with the same kind of people you have been working for many years? They'll feel like, okay, this job can easily be done with the AI, then there's no variation, there's no such challenges, let's just change it. So the jobs which are going to stay are only the jobs where human intervention, a human brain needs to um, uh, you know uh, uh, needs to brainstorm itself, come up with new ideas. These are the only jobs which are going to stay. And to give your best to these kind of jobs, to give a resolution to this kind of situations posted to you, you will need a diverse group. Anybody here who does not agree to this point or has a counterpoint to it, that no, this is my area and I feel that we do great as a homogeneous group? I take it as that everybody agrees with me. Okay, imagine we
uh,
are in a war. Yeah, okay,
uh,
somebody speaking,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
While diversity is
Hmm.
welcome,
Hmm.
okay, but sometimes the consensus, okay, to a decision may be a
Hmm.
challenging with the a heterogeneous team. When I think everybody, while ideas, bringing the ideas is good in heterogeneous, but the
Hmm.
consensus on the decision
Hmm.
may take time or
Hmm.
may be a challenge for with the heterogeneous, and which is a good factor for the homogeneous team. This
Correct,
is my
correct.
point of view.
No, absolutely. If there's a war going on, we cannot wait for a diverse group to join in, right? Somebody will have to take
True.
call and only a certain group of men will, or let's say a certain people, a certain group of people with only those skills would be required. So, but that's very limited. There's a very limited pockets. When we talk of corporates, when we talk of organizations, we do need diversity, we do need diverse ideas. Anybody wants to add anything at this point, or we move ahead?
Yeah, as an organization,
Mm-hmm.
it must to balance the diversity
Mm-hmm.
management by both the homogeneous as well as heterogeneous groups, because sometimes it may happen if we are in the approach with a heterogeneous group, so
Mm-hmm.
sometimes cultural stroke will come before,
Mm-hmm.
before the beginning, right? So at the
Yes.
beginning part is well a challenging part in case of
Yes.
heterogeneous, but after that diversity management can be done in a
Exactly.
defined way.
As our earlier speaker mentioned, and then Rajan added, yes, sometimes managing them can be different, you know, when we have a group of women. So me, if I
So
was a manager, I would know how to deal with a group of women. Okay, let's go for a cup of coffee post work, and let me put my point, you know, let me put it this way. Now, if it's a heterogeneous group, everybody would have a different way of being approached, and will, so the manager will definitely have challenges. So as Rajan mentioned, before that somebody else added that yes, heterogeneous group do come with their challenges, but that's the way forward. I see in my career of 8-9 years, the best experience I had, the best of ideas, the best of problem solving has 99% times come from a diverse group. That's why we also see during recruitment postings, you must have seen inclusive employers. So it means, you know, that means that particular employer does not differentiate on the basis of gender, color, race, religion, or even special abilities. Let's move forward with this. Please feel free to add in your points, guys. I'll be very happy. Let's make it a useful 1 hour for all of us. I'm telling you, this is the future. Some of us, me myself, I did not understand it a lot 5 years back, but the more I have understood, the more of these sessions I have been conducting, and the more I realize how corporate is completely moving towards them. There's no future without understanding these concepts. So let's go to equity. Personally, equity has been the most challenging concept, the longest that I took to understand among all these four. What do you think is equity? Is equity, equality same? What do you think is equity? Come on, come on. I know we have very sharp minds on the team over here right now. Tell me, what's equity? Is equity and equality same? What makes equity?
probably equality, maybe, taking one perspective and looking at everything should be, equal. Whereas
Hmm.
equity is considering all perspectives.
Sir, how can I address you? I'm sorry. I find your name a bit tricky.
You can pronounce me as Bundy.
Okay, Bundy. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Great, Mr. Bundy. Thank you very much. Yes, you are right. Equality is like seeing everybody with the same mirror. But are we all the same? A man returning to office after a prolonged illness post 6 months, and a man who has the who was still there, are they both same? Let's go. Let's move forward to the next slide and see what is equity. Okay, this picture over here. So we see three people standing. There is a man, there is a little girl, and there is a handicapped person who is using a wheelchair for. So you see the first picture, they have given three of them the same options. But is this equality? Is this enough? What comes
No,
to your
no,
mind
no,
when you...
no, you're not giving equal chance in the first photograph.
Correct. So this is, if somebody can call, oh, I gave them equal chances, they all had 6 months to learn this concept. But the one of them is only 18, the other one is 28. Or I mean, this may even not be fair. Let's say what scenarios you think would need an extra support in your organization that you are around? Where do you think we would have to give us equity support, or support in terms of equity? Can do you, is some example comes to your mind? I just mentioned one, a colleague returning after a prolonged illness. It happens, life happens. Rajan, I see. I'm sorry. I'm going half mode so that I can see who all we have over
Yeah,
here.
ma'am. In this case, we can consider one example.
Uh-huh.
Irrespective of the portfolio of a person,
Uh-huh.
the opportunities and the whatever the resources and support requires,
Mm-hmm.
that will be same to irrespective of its portfolio. That's equity.
Correct. That's equity. You are absolutely right, Rajan. It's equity. Uh, So what I say is, I have seen this firsthand in my organization. So we had this lady who was coming back to work after the maternity period. The manager was not very happy about she joining back, and they both belong to the same region. If I remember correctly, this was when I just started my career as an intern. So they were supposed to, the manager would come and talk to my HOD and tell her that just ask her to leave. But when he would go back to this lady, it seemed they belong to the same region, I think same place in Meerut in Uttar Pradesh. So post, like without work, like after work also, they had a connection, they knew each other, they would discuss common things. And then she got pregnant and she went on her maternity leave. She came back and she was quite happy that the manager is ready to accept her, and she's coming back and she can take over. And here the manager is telling us that just ask her to leave. I don't think she'll be able to keep up. So me that time, as a beginner, as a woman myself, it was a bit moving. I was like, why is he doing that? I learned two lessons over there. In corporate, things can be a bit tricky because I was coming straight out of college. I was not able to understand his behavior. Then why is it two things? He can just directly tell her that I do not want you in the team. And the lady would come to the HR team and say, oh, he is ready to keep me, what is your problem? The HR team would say, no, it's the your team. We cannot tell directly, oh, the manager is doing this. We would say, no, your team does not require any service. So she would say, why doesn't it require my service? My manager is saying I'm needed. So you see tricky situations like this, but according to me, that time all she needed was a bit of support to really catch up. We all have females in our life in the form of mother, wife, sister. Most of the women are working these days. So yes, it's important to provide this equity, this support of equity when people are coming back. That time we may feel, oh, she's getting this extra 15-20 minutes, the HOD is spending so much time just to explain her these simple concepts. But this is the way forward. I have seen colleagues who have come back from prolonged illness. They had to go for organ transplants. They came after 3 months. They join after 6 months. God forbid, the people had to go for chemotherapies for 6 months, 7 months. Just in their 40s, they had to come back to work. So it becomes very important for organizations in these days to provide the equity in terms of training, in terms of, I'm not just talking of those which are very clearly, the specially abled ones where there is a problem, there's a birth defect when the baby is born. A certain eyes may have issues, or there's a hearing issue, or there is a speech problem, has to have to use a wheelchair, as we see in this picture. So that is very clearly the employers will have to do. Even in these cases, I'm telling you, when a woman is returning back, a prolonged illness case, we have to give them the required support. Those 6 months, those 3 months, those few weeks of required support that you give will make you as an employer, as a team. Many of us may be employers here, many of us may not be. So even as a team, you as a leader of your team would be appreciated. You would be team, before ditching you would think twice that should I leave this team. I know that I have a leader who's dependable. So yes, this is equity. I hope everybody has understood. Please feel free to add something over here if any of us want to, or else we will move forward. Okay, a silence of 10 seconds would take me to the next slide then. Thank you very much. This is inclusion. What is inclusion? The practice or policy for providing equal access or opportunities and resources to people who might otherwise be excluded. Why is it important? Inclusive companies are 1.7 times more innovative because, again, okay, see, these four terms you may find, oh, they are very similar. No, they have overlaps, but they are not similar. Okay, I can go into the details if you want me to. But yes, they are not similar. Diversity, inclusion are different. They have overlaps, but then there are a lot of things which are different between the two. 67% of candidates seek out diverse companies to work for. Would I like to join a company where I may be judged on the basis of my skin complexion or my complexion? Maybe I'm on the darker side. Will I go and join? Will I be very comfortable joining the company which is up north in Kashmir, where I know that most of them would be quite fairer than me? Won't I be a bit concerned that will they accept me? The language difference, the skin color difference. They would be concerned, right? Very, very obviously, they would be concerned. So we always want to, human nature is that we want to be included. We want to be, money is of course a huge factor, but then coming next to, very close to money, is inclusion. If you ask me, for me, inclusion comes above money. I would not like to go to an organization where I'm paid better, but I don't feel included. Okay, over here we have belonging. Belonging centers around the employee experience of feeling accepted in the workplace. Every team member should feel that their perspective is valued and adds something useful. Over here, I have not given a lot about inclusion because these two topics, especially inclusion and belonging, have a lot of similarities over here. Okay, so so if we go to belonging, what does belonging mean? How is it different from inclusive? Inclusive is, you trying to, it's more on the side of the on the side of the team, where you have your policies open, where you ensure that your team is open to a person who's new. And we know that, right? No more teams are situated in Delhi NCR, and all the people working there are Delhi NCR. Those days are gone. Our companies located in Chennai, and all of them are from Chennai. It doesn't happen anymore. All of our IT support for my current employer comes from Chennai. So these people had to be, so this is how it is, especially post COVID. The work arena has completely changed. The support is coming from IT India. The people are sitting in Singapore. They have, the Singapore team is reporting to somewhere in US. The headquarters of the company is in US. So it's just so well connected these days. So coming to belonging, what do you think is belonging, team, over here? What do you think is the difference between belonging? Is more like, uh, your acceptance, like, you ultimately, after the effort from inclusion, it comes belonging, that finally these efforts that were put during inclusion give a result at belonging stage, that okay, I finally feel that I do belong to this team. What
Can
Yeah.
we say inclusive is from the employer perspective and belonging employee perspective?
Yes, very closely connected, but as I mentioned, it's more on the team's effort of inclusion, whereas belonging is the result of this.
Two sides of the one coin.
Yes, correct, correct, correct. So I put it this way without putting a lot of things here, why is it important and this and that, because I want you to understand over here the connection between inclusion and belonging. They're not same. If I may put it, even that may not be precise exactly 100%, but when the team goes and puts an effort towards inclusion, the new team member feels belonged. And why do you think belonging is so important? Do we have a experience here, any experience here to share, where you did not belong to a certain team and you left the company, not because the money was not great, because you did not feel that I belong here? Do we have experience over here? Do you all feel belonged? What do you think belong means? Have you ever not felt that okay, the team does not care, they are not including me? I know this happens. I had the role of HRBP. We have the most complaint is that I'm not being included. This is the, like, the first level of threat that comes your way when the team is not ready or manager is not very happy with you. You don't feel included. You feel like I'm missing out on communication, sometimes deliberately. Come on, team, talk. Let's share today. Let's make some productive use of this time that we are spending together. Any experiences or maybe you felt belonged, that okay, I felt great with this team first day, and we were just like, I think COVID has hampered this, this. I'm not sure how's it in India right now. Have we all returned to office? Are we working 100% from office?
Yes.
Okay, great. So how about others? Rajan, have you returned to office? Are you working 100% from office?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. So we go here then. Belonging, I'll tell you a very interesting experience of mine. Okay, so if you guys know of this organization, Indian Oil Corporation Limited. Okay, so I grew up in those townships. So we have townships. So I used to, when I grew up, when I did my MBA in HR, I went for my internship, and my topic of my internship or my project that we have to do post college to complete the degree was HR best practices in oil and gas industries, because people do not leave these companies. Once in IOCL, so what I used to see there, why is all around people leaving so much? We are talking so much about retention, this, that. Why are people not leaving these organizations, IOCL, BPCL, HPCL? So what's going on? What's the difference? And I'm telling you, money wise, I know this internally, money wise, they are not like the best payers. They don't pay you a lot. So I was like, why don't they leave it then? I'll tell you, because they feel belonged. They give you these quarters, so it's not just you who's feeling belonged in the office. You have families connected. Of course, that level of belonging, I think there are only certain organizations which do it. We had a recent one, the Jamnagar refinery, the feeds, I'm sure you, same with you guys, the social media feeds are filled up with Jamnagar refinery. So they give you a sense of belonging. Mrs. Nita Ambani standing on the stage and saying, my Jamnagar family, it's belonging. She's trying to create a feeling of belonging. You see, I'm just putting these examples so that you understand it better. The same goes to, I've seen with the Tatas. I've seen, especially the Tata Steel whole the state of Jharkhand. The people who have ever visited would know this. They leave, the children leave the state, they leave the township, and they still talk about it with such affinity till their old age, because the company, the organization was able to create this very strong sense of belonging among their people. So inclusion, so the when we hire a lot of diverse population, we are increasing our chances of a new person being included, to feel included. I'm worried to go join a company in Kashmir, but let's say they already have people there. Oh no, don't worry about it. My recruiter assures me, don't worry, we already have people from, let's say, let's say maybe Punjab or maybe Gujarat. We already have people. Would I leave that place? I would not leave. I know that, oh, I have a Gujarati community there already. They are already vegetarians. I don't need to worry about my food choices. I already have higher chance of being included. So diversity, because I hired a diverse population. It's helping me to make the people feel included, and when the people feel included, they would end up belonging and not leaving my organization. If you guys, I'm not sure how many of you would be aware, but retention is such a big problem right now. People take 2 offers, 3 offers at a time. I would not judge here that okay, they're right or wrong. That's a story for another day. But they would recruit, they would take 3 offers at a time, and they would wait till last minute. What's my in hand? Okay, if it's not, I'll let me go with this. They are all 3 equal brand names. Why do I waste my time? And so it has become such a big issue. The Gen Z, all born in 2000s. I'm not sure if any of us have here 90s, late 90s and 2000s. They come to the office and they say, "Oh, it's not vibing," and they leave. And they leave after 20 days. So retention is a huge issue right now. So not just from an HR point of view, I'm telling you, as we grow after 10, 15 years, you are no more IC, individual contributor. What you become is manager. All of us will end up in a position where we are manager, and we will have to manage a team. You may not be directly into HR, you may not be directly into recruitment, but retention would be a headache. This guy just came, started performing. He is my top performer. My project is at peak. Will I be able to let him go? No, I would not be happy to let him go. So this is why belonging, or all these 4 topics, become very important. We go to our first slide over here: access, equality, justice, value, allyship, purpose, growth, and accountability. This all, when we take care of these things, this is what we get in return. We get access, we get equality, we get justice, we get value, allyship, purpose, growth, and accountability. Let's go to our next slide over here. Let's play a game, guys. You guys are hardly speaking. I don't know if it's only three of us will be playing a game, Mr. Bundy, Mr. Rajan, and me. Okay, at this point, can I request you to unmute and do this for me? Let's try this, a small one. You can just have to say one line. I'm sure you don't mind. So the game time is, this is like a small,
Not into IT.
you guys want to, somebody wants to say something over here? Hello, hello.
No, please.
No. Okay, okay, sure. So I am, but I am not. So after I am, there is blank, blank, blank. But I am not is also blank, blank. So for example, I'm just telling you, I work with TCS, but I'm not into IT. The moment you say TCS, they just say, oh, you must be in IT. So it's like bias, we are trying to introduce a small concept through this game, bias, deep inside our heart without much of logic, based on our experience or what our parents talk or what our friends think. We just come up with our own stereotypes and biases in our head. So yes, but I'm not into IT. Mr. Bundy, would you like to try first? I am, but I'm not.
Mm, no, you are saying that, similar to that, we need to phrase one
Yes,
word,
correct,
right?
correct. You need to complete the statement. I
Okay,
am,
okay,
but I'm not.
okay.
Anybody till then? Rajan, would you like to try?
Yes, ma'am.
Please go ahead, Rajan.
I work with quality management system, but I
Mm-hmm.
am not into quality.
Oh, wow. This is very interesting. So, if you don't mind, what are you into then? Is it IT support to the quality team?
No, no, ma'am. That's the difference.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, thank you, Rajan. So, anybody else who would like to volunteer and come up with something like this? Ladies, happy Women's Day to all the ladies. I'm a day late. Ladies, come
I
on, I'm
work.
not.
I
Yeah.
work in. I work in an automotive sector, but I am not a mechanical engineer.
Ah, okay. Yes, very interesting. Thanks. So yes, these are like biases. Like the moment I say, okay, I work with automat, so they're like, oh, you did your mechanical engineering. No, I did not do my mechanical engineering. So we have a lot of biases in our hearts. We grow up like this. Uh, like how do I tell you? We can have some of the examples. You see somebody fair, and you just think, in Indians especially, I've seen, they just think, oh, they must be from north, and I've seen of women from Kerala. So these are biases that we have it in our mind. um,
Yeah,
um,
maybe I am a South Indian, but I don't belong to Tamil Nadu.
yeah, correct. So this is like a lot of people feel, oh, there was a term used for Madras, so we used to refer everybody from Madras, because that was the limitation of our knowledge. So come with these biases, these stereotypes, which I think is the biggest hindrance when we come to these four concepts that we just spoke about. Diversity, a lot of times we have already thought, she's a woman, if I hire her today, her family will be her priority. There's a big stereotyping that the family will be a priority, the work would be the second priority. Will our team be able to be diverse if we have stereotypes or biases? We will never be able to do it. uh, uh, you know um, um, Building a flat system, like how or most of the organizations, unfortunately, or most of the buildings, let me say, most of the infrastructure developers still do not consider a ramp, where we can cross the even the prams can use it, the any kind of motor roller where which carrying people, carrying children. A lot of these ramps are not being built. what does it show? They feel like, oh, now we'll have to get an organization. I'm especially talking of middle level or small organizations, where they think that I don't to or pay the rent of building which is more than 50,000, 55,000, just because they have a ramp. But I'll tell you, in long run, it's very important. It makes you inclusive employer. It makes us an inclusive team, higher chances of people staying with us. The retention and recruitment cost is crazy these days. Okay, anyways, team. So, open floor and question time. I know we have time over here, but I did not want it to just for the sake of it. I wanted it to be an interactive, a learning session. Anything you guys would want to add, just say that. Okay, Anamika, I don't agree with this. I don't agree with the point. I'm very open to your thoughts. Anybody? I'm now going to call names out. All those sleepy ones who just had their lunch. Wake up. I'm going to call your names.
I request everyone to please participate. We are having great time here. Anamika is sharing great things. And if we share our thoughts, the learning will be enhanced for everyone.
No problem, Prachi. Prachi, it's just the lunch, I'm telling you. Just the lunch. It's just the great Saturday lunch we all had.
That is making us silent, right?
Yes, correct. Okay, so I take it as that we have understood the four words and we would be
Could you
using, yeah.
could you once again repeat, the word equality and equity?
Sure, I told you it took me the longest to understand equality and equity. Okay.
This picture I understood.
Mhm.
Here, you are saying in the first picture, there are different people, but the opportunity is different for them, right?
Correct.
Whereas here in the second, you are giving equal opportunity and expecting a common result.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
A lot of people talk about, I think the biggest example, we all have debated at some point in life about reservation. Certain people getting reservation, certain caste getting reservation, and why are the general ones not getting reservation. I do not mean it from a political perspective, but I'm just giving you an example. So a child belonging to belonging to a scheduled tribe community who's still receiving his education from a school, a small school, or possibly no school, or has the access to school only after from home, and a child who's being raised in a um, in a uh, in a city society, or uh, in a tier 1 city, where the access to school is immediate, the access to coaching classes post school is immediate. Are they both having opportunity? Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yes, you may be providing opportunities, but they may not be, equally competing
Exactly.
because of their, the availability of the resources, availability of the facilities,
Exactly.
opportunities.
Yes. I'll remind you a very small factor over here, the background of the parents. A child who comes from a family where two parents are already working in corporates, the amount of exposure that the child in the city already has, and the amount of work a child who will come from village and will have to put in is different. It's not same. That is exactly what equity means. That lets a chance for people who are behind us, in terms, let's say, resources, in terms of opportunity. That's why I kept quoting an example of a colleague who had to go through who has to go through, let's say, a chemotherapy, god forbid, had to go through a long process of prolonged illness, had to go through the process of fighting illness for prolonged period of time, and was absent from work for 2 years. And when they have the right to come back to work, number one, and number two, isn't it the responsibility of the of employer as a team, as a manager, for you to give him a fair chance to restart the career? So that extra support that would be required, where you would be sitting with him on your table explaining things and how things have changed. I myself, when I returned back from motherhood after my maternal break was about 3 years, when I came back, things had completely changed, I'm telling you. HR was not the same when I came back. We do need that support. We need that support for sometimes because of factors like, the difference in the education where you receive from, a city, a village, the family background, as I mentioned. So all this basically making our workplace, making our team a safe space, a space that provides opportunity to all, irrespective of their background.
Fine, thank you. One more question, Anamika. See, nowadays, okay, in order to improve the diversity, organizations are taking in terms of recruiting human manpower, sorry, female manpower, okay, like that. But sometimes I feel those things are taken as a chance. Sometimes people start misusing it. The diversity factor, considering the diversity factor. You
I'm
got my
sorry, I
point?
did not know. I did not understand your point. You mean to say a certain section would start?
Let's say in my organization, sometimes, not all the times. So we have given the opportunity to work, the female employees to work. Okay, but it's because we are given the opportunity, uh, and they have got certain difficulties, coming in B shift may be a problem for them. Okay, and sometimes early shift coming may be a problem. So we try to provide certain benefits, or you mean to say certain I would say a certain opportunity that we give, but
Just
that
discussed
will be
equity, right? Yeah,
that will
okay.
be misused by the team. So how to challenge, how to overcome those challenges?
See, sir, I'll tell you one thing over here. Misuse will, now this is not, I think it has less to do with making your team diverse and more to do with, uh, there would always be a misuse. You give the men, opportunity of work from home. I'm not telling here anything to do with men and women, or even, um, what I'm trying to tell here is that it has less to do with more to do with the kind of person we are hiring. If you ask me, I would I would go back to the recruitment team and who are you hiring? How do you judge the people? I truly believe, always, don't hire the best qualified. They can, or you can always train them. Hire the best. Character, check the person's character, check the person's conviction. you know uh, I have myself, I when I had the time to hire somebody, I have fought with my management, and I've hired people from marketing team, because the woman told me that I want to come join HR. She did not have the right degree, but I knew to learn. She's ready to, she was truly interested in this job. She did not have the right qualification. She was like, no, no, we are looking for 5 years of experience only in HR. Because I found it that she may not be having the qualification right now, in terms of HR. She does not have the degree, but she's ready to learn. For me, I think it's more to do with hire the right people, sir. You in these times, sir, you know that, right? The moonlighting happens. You know that you hire people and they do not put in. I personally know women who like they really put work second, or I have seen this firsthand, you know. So God, I'm telling you, as much as I support feminist, I do not support that if opportunity has been given to you, do not misuse it. But I think it has more to do with recruitment. The problem that you mentioned, we have to be very clear on recruit. What are the kind of people? Are we looking for overqualified, highly qualified, or uh, are we looking for, you know, people who show conviction? To me, it's very important. I hope I did not, you know, go away from your question quite a lot.
Fine, fine, thank you.
Yeah, okay, okay. Okay, anybody else who has would like me to repeat any of it? Hello, hello,
Can you discuss
everybody.
a few benefits to the organization per se because of DEIB?
Sure, Prachi, sure, we can do that. Okay, so in general, I'm asking you, who will you like to join? You know, we are all here. I am an employee of an organization. Who will you like to join? A team which promises that you will be included. You will feel belong. Like, you know, you'll feel included. You will have in case something happens, in case life happens, in case you have to go on a break for XYZ reason. The place I am here for taking care of their elderly parents. I never saw that in India, sadly. Who will you like to be hired with? Would you like to be hired with the organization? You know, okay, let's for this example, Google. We remember, right? Google used to be the first choice for these people who were passing out after organizations from these. I had some friends in IIT. They made the first choice as Google. It's hands down Google. The work culture, this that. What happened after mass layoffs? What happened after mass layoffs? Do they want to choose the same organization? Is Google the same, perceived the same way? No, they do not perceive it the same way. Why did it happen? Because they did not feel belonged anymore. They were not sure anymore that will we have the job security or not, which was a very important factor when they were actually wanting to be hired. So because they felt like, oh, we will belong to this place, the place was, they will so I will have a better chance of inclusion because the place is diverse, right? What happened? The morale really broke, and I'm telling you, on ground it's not the same anymore after those mass layoffs that they did, where people were informed to leave the organization in a few hours time. So if you ask me, how does it benefit? These four terms are the way forward. If we want to retain people, if you want to keep people, if you or even let's not talk of these big things of organization. If you want to have a strong team, if you as a manager want to deliver, you will have to take care of these four things in your team. What you were talking just now, Prachi, that how does it benefit? It gives you equality, it gives you justice. Would you like to be part of a team where you know that I may be chucked off, or would you like to be when you know that it's dependable, my manager is dependable, he will understand? Where will the understanding come from? The understanding will come from belonging and inclusion, because they would have seen a earlier example that the manager does take that extra step where required for the teammates. Now what Mr. Bundy asked before this, that how do we ensure that they are not taking benefits? I'm trying to make them feel included over here, but they are taking benefits. So as I mentioned earlier, it has to be taken care for me. As per me, it has to be taken care during more to do with the recruitment part. You as a manager will have to go and ask them questions which makes you understand that, okay, this particular person, I can trust them. A conviction can be built. I do feel that yes, they'll be able to give their 100% once in. So this was the answer to your question, Prachi, that how do organizations or teams, more than organizations, I'm using the word teams over here, because I feel the leaders or managers, the if they are able to give the best of teams, ultimately it would be a great organization.